Well, good evening. Welcome to Thursday Night Saw. Getting started a little early here tonight. Get everybody kind of clocked in. Trying to see if all the everything is up and going. Maybe so. Hopefully I have sound and everything. All the chats. Hope everyone has had a great week so far. And we've had a busy one back and forth to all the doctor visits and that kinds of stuff. But it's gone fairly well, fairly well. Hopefully, someone kind of check in with me. Let me know I have sound and everything. Maybe so. It's, oh yeah, John Chafin's there. Very good, very good. Doing pretty well, John. I missed you a little bit with the text last week. I was trying to get that kind of little training presentation going, and so I didn't get over to Facebook. I don't know why, but this thing doesn't. I can take and simulcast on Facebook and YouTube off of the Zoom session, but the the actual I guess it's a beta program or whatever. It doesn't do the chat on the screen with the Facebook. I have to go over to put Facebook on my other computer to be able to see it. So anyway, it takes a little bit trying to go back and forth between the two of them. So I kind of missed your comments last week till later, but I'm doing good. I've had I think 13 or tomorrow will be 13 of the radiation treatments on the skin cancers, and went back and taken off my arm. Um, Went over to the doctor today, and he said all the tests came back. Looks like they had all the margins covered, and nothing shows up anywhere on the skin around it. So I now I got that one off. Hopefully it heals up and don't have anything else pop back up. So skin cancer on my face. I've had 12 treatments. I think 13 tomorrow, and so everything is working good on that. It seems to be drying it up a little bit. But that's quite an experience. You go in and lay down, and they have this thing they call a mask that they have developed. They basically that it's fiberglass that they put over you, and they mold it to your face, and then they have these other compounds that to put on so that the laser doesn't burn you, and they strap you down to the table, and you can't move anything because that laser goes back and forth and does all of the treatments. And hey, Kathy Taylor Hall, how are you? We think about you a lot. Hopefully, hopefully things are going pretty good. But glad to see you dropping by. We miss y'all. Anyway, so they have another 21 or something like that treatments to go. So we'll see how all that works out. Thank you, John. Appreciate the prayers. They've helped out a lot, and especially with Laura trying to keep up with all my stuff going on and keep her stuff going too. So it's been quite interesting. Um, I've lost a good bit of weight, but I feel good, and I've got the studio kind of getting close to being set up. It's going to be pretty nice. You can see behind me there. I've got a large screen that I'll be able to put videos and presentation on. Got whiteboard set up. I've got a camera that basically follows me around the room, and it does all kinds of different things. And so that's going to hopefully I've got the also workbench behind me, can do saw stuff, and I've got overhead cameras. I've got other two cameras to catch all of the different things. So I'm really working towards trying to get some I guess you'd call it virtual classroom training going on. So if you know anyone, fire department, city, county, state, logging, tree care, about anyone who would like to have basic classroom sessions, and then I've got some guys that are going to be helping me out in the field a little bit, so they go out and do some of the hands-on days. But I've got the classroom sessions I'll have set up in here and out of my little workshop outside also. And so we were able to take and put those things together for groups. And I can put up to I think about 50 on the Zoom sessions, so we can make it kind of inviting cost wise for organizers. So it's pretty neat. So if you know of anyone that I've had several things to be working, doing some with Samaritan's Purse out of here, over the next couple months, January and February, and then doing some classroom sessions for them on the weeks that they're going to have their site managers in. And we got some things planned with the fire department um, over in Alabama. So there's a lot of stuff going on to be doing virtually. So I think it's going to work out pretty good. So high tech, and I'm not going to be able to get out and do much traveling, but hope to make a few sites over 2024. But we'll see how that goes. It's hard once you get started all these doctor visits to be able to stay going anywhere, because you got to get back for all these visits. Oh, let's see. Yeah, Kathy. I've I miss Norm being on there. He was always helping out. We miss him. You know, I was reading several articles. I'm sure you've probably seen them too, Kathy. I was reading several articles about how many people he touched out there with training over the years, and people learned a lot and saved a lot of injuries and probably a lot of loss of life. So he uh, he did an excellent job for many years. So and I know you two had great times together. Um, I just finished a video that's kind of interesting. I'm gonna post it after the session tonight. It's called Planning for Production. I was watching some videos here over the past few days and I've been watching, several months on YouTube, that, how we watch different things, but it doesn't really give you the basis to it. And talking with a lot of the guys that I get messages from, productivity, um, comes number one from safety. But how can you take and be productive and maintain safety out there? And it all goes back to the planning process. And for years we've used a 5-step planning process, and I've done several videos with it included. But it's something that I put a new spin on it, and I think you'll find it kind of interesting. But I've watched a couple videos here over the past week or so that, guys have got saws and they're just going back and forth and side to side around the tree and over the trees and it's really crazy how people spend a lot of time trying to do stuff on a tree, and then whether long bars or short bars or small saws or big saws, they try to do stuff that they spend a lot more time than necessary on, whereas if you back up and you have a planning process, and I know everybody does have some kind of planning process, but when you have a format that you stick to, you miss less, you perform more, and you work a lot less also. And so instead of going from this side to that side to see what you've done, is to back up, make the plan, and then execute the plan. And so that's really the key to productivity and maintaining safety. So it's quite interesting, some of the thoughts that I got off of some messages recently and those kind of things. So yeah, the 7 step felling plan, Kathy, he added in some of the equipment and things on it. So it's basically the same 5 step plan, but added a couple things for arborists and climbers. And so it added just a little bit more detail there, but basically the same situation. But yeah, he really preached the going down through the steps as Soren did for years, and I've tried to follow up with that also. Is that's really the key to productivity and safety, and so it's important to think through, and there's a lot of different techniques that are out there that work in a lot of different conditions and situations. But those techniques have to be pulled out at the right time, and that's where the planning process comes in to be able to kind of orchestrate that. And so it's kind of something to see when a plan all comes together with orchestrated results, I guess you'd say. So I've got it's kind of neat here to look. I've got the screen back behind that will be able to put a lot of different things on. I can use it as 2 separate monitors. It splits up into a third monitor, and also be able to show video, and also have the ability to and this is kind of cool to be able to I'm gonna put you kind of on hold here a minute. I'm gonna see if I can share this screen. And let's see. There it is. And so well, oh, via cable. I don't know. Huh. Well, anyway, I tried that, but I've got the ability to set up the screen here also. Let's see. Oh, I see what I did now. There's 2 different ones. There's one for cable and one for the for air. I set this up so you can kind of see it. Pretty cool. So that'll be able to to show up on the screen in the back. So now this gives me a whiteboard to be able to work with, and that's kind of how I've done most of the presentations for years. So you can kind of see there. Plus, I can put together all kinds of slides to be able to work with also, and so that's pretty cool to be able to do that. And it pauses and goes back to different things. I also have another camera that I use over here for has a, teleprompter on it. So for different presentations, I've got that set up. Another one over here set up very similar too. So I can use that with the tables. So the neat thing about the other camera that I have here, it's a OBS bot, and that sets up to be able to do all kinds of things. It'll zoom and it'll take and zoom and it follows me around the room. So if I get up here, it's tough when you try to get this thing. It should work. Oh, I know what I did. I hit the wrong one. No, that's right. So it should be on. Now it's following me. So it has hand signals and stuff that picks up. And so it'll actually take and follow me over, and I've got lights, so I add to it on the workbench table. So it's kind of cool. And it also it'll zoom in and out. And so it goes to all over the room here, follows you around. So it's pretty neat. And also have a drone set up. Going to be getting some different things with that too. So and that'll be on some things. David Reed and Chris Childs is going to be helping me on some of the field videos, and so it's going to be looking at that too to be able to put together some different classroom and outside training programs. So pretty decent. And I've got several different um, things planned for 2024. I've got in January, which I've got three, I think, signed up already for it. I'm going to be doing another legacy instructor class. And what I'm looking for in that, this is not a class for new operators. It's more for pretty experienced chainsaw operators, fallers, and storm sawing. And so I had the one for 2023. We had I had to keep it small. I had it on another system, so I had 8 guys that have participated in it. And this program goes through what it's about to actual put together programs and train. And so that's the whole idea of following through the legacy of instructing. And we have 12 weeks of online training that we did. And that's on Tuesday nights. We came up with that night. I don't know whether this one for 2024 will be there or not. The first one will be, but we'll be doing on Tuesday nights for about an hour and a half. And that's presentations on training modules, looking at the different instructor situations, everything from putting together your own training business to working with forced applications to helping out with our field work. Also, looking at putting together training materials, props, all those kinds of things that people have shared with me over the years that make it pretty nice to work with. And so all of that goes on with discussions, some presentations and things, put together programs, and then we would end up with after that a weekend, and we had a plan for this coming weekend, and uh, half of the class is disaster relief, and so they had to head to Clarksville, Tennessee. And so we were going to reschedule that after the first of the year and get our weekend back together again. Go up and do some little competitions and practice some presentations. But anyway, the 2024 program, the deadline for registration, I've set for January the 10th. And so if you know of anybody that's interested, we're going to be finishing up our schedule on that. And the first session will be on January 23rd. And so it's 12 weeks commitment and then plus one weekend at some point in time. The whole group kind of works on that facet, but it'll be set up to do that. And we will each seat is going to be $1,200 on that for the entire program. And the um, first session, like I say, be starting on January 23rd, Tuesday night, the 23rd. So if you know of somebody that's interested, if you'd like to be an instructor, or even if you've got, a company, a tree company or a logging company or whatever, and you have employees and you'd like some ideas on being able to pass along, some training and techniques, this would be a good program for you. Another thing I got coming April the 2nd through the 4th will be our storm sawing workshop for first quarter of 2024. It's going to be held here near Rome in Kingston, Georgia, and we'll be starting on the 2nd going through the 4th. And that's the 3-day storm sawing workshop. And that covers inside presentation. First day, we'll be doing some maintenance on the saws, sharpening, all those kinds of things. Then we'll be, second day, we'll be felling trees and setting up storm situations. And on the third day, we'll be working with pressures and binds and working with different storm cleanup things like hung trees, um, planning out uh, different types of cuts, all those kinds of things to work with. So the storm sawing workshop I've been doing for, I guess, about 11, 12 years here in Rome. And it's always usually at least one time or two times a year. We try to do one in the spring, one in the fall. Been doing them over at Berry College, and the land management manager changed, and so I don't have that set up. But Breeden Farms over in Kingston will be hosting the cutting site, so we've got a good site to work with. So that'll be looking forward to. I've got already, I think, 4 signed up for that, and we will be closing that off at 12 participants. Um, if I had a larger group, I don't know, I may be able to get another instructor to help with it because David is probably going to be helping out with me some on that. And so, but right now it's set to have 12 seats. So it's going to fill up pretty fast after the first of the year. But that's some things going on. And so, all right, Kathy, thanks for dropping by. Good to hear from you. And we're keeping you in our thoughts and prayers for sure. So take it easy. Um, the other thing that I've got going on from our move, and I had one order come in tonight. I cleaned out all the shop, old stuff that I had. It's all new stuff basically, but boxes and cabinets and stuff like that I had of different files and guides and chaps and all kinds of different things. And we sold a good bit of it off as we moved, and I've still got a good many items that I'm trying to get rid of. And so I've placed a Christmas sale. So 50% off everything at the e-store. If you go to our website at forestapps.com, you'll see a link to it. And you can go in, pick out what you want. When you get ready to check out, the code is Merry Christmas, and that'll give you a 50% discount off of some of the already discounted prices on there. So cross sites, I've got some chisel bit files, square ground files, square filing files. I've got them. I've got regular some round files. I've got furred tools. I've got some chaps, not a lot of selection, but some there. I've got ebook in printed version, and also I've got sensible wood cutting DVDs, which those are kind of left over from some of the Husqvarna work. And so it's a really good basic chainsaw safety video on DVD. And so those are available. And so everything on your order is 50% off, and I'm going to try to get them out this week where you'll have them by Christmas. So remember the code is Merry Christmas. So that's where it's at on that. And that kind of covers all the highlights for tonight. I had a lot of good comments um, off of the video I posted just the other day, and it's it's had quite a number of views, and that's the bar changes I call it. And what it is I had about 3 or 4 questions come in over the past month, looking at I've got a saw I bought, or somebody had given me this saw, and it has a 16-inch bar on it. Can I change it over to an 18 or a 20? And everybody always, wants a longer bar. I had one good message came in today where he said, I'd really rather use a shorter bar if at all possible. And I've always kind of been that way. If you think about most of my travels around, even the mountain states and out west, I usually carry a 20, 24 inch bar. I mean, if you think about it, unless you're out in logging and um, you don't get into all that much stuff that's bigger than 40 inches. So with a 20-inch bar, you can do 39 to 40 pretty easy. Matter of fact, I've cut up to a 52-inch tree with 20-inch bar. You can put the face notch in, use a bore cut through the face, cut the good side, I mean the bad side and then the good side, and be able to work that up from 52 inches across. And Soren always used to say, what's the majority of your work going to be? Is it going to be cutting that 40-inch piece, or is it going to be, the tree tapering down to 20, where the limbs start, and then you've got all of this limb work to do? And larger bars kind of, when you get up into that space, it kind of gets in the way sometimes. If you got really big timber out west, a lot of guys walking on the trees, taking the limbs off, or either walking beside, taking limbs off. The longer bar keeps you having to bend over and those kinds of things. There's different aspects that it really works out good, but in majority of storm cleanup, firewood, most tree work, it's mostly your work is going to be done with the smaller unit, So, and even in logging, if you've got a tree that's 150 feet tall, most of the time you're probably going to keep the log lengths in 24 to 48 feet. So, I mean, you're not making that many uh, cuts on the trunk once you get the tree down, and um, it doesn't take that big of a bar felling. And I find it to be a lot better when you get into the limbing and bucking. But that's a discussion I had today with someone, and they kind of felt the same way. But there where the real big bars come in, if you do have large bucking and limbs to do, it makes it nice to be able to work from one side of the trunk once it's horizontal on the ground. But as far as felling, it's not a big deal at all. But so that video, it worked out really well. Answered some questions about what the actual things you had to look for when you start thinking about going to a different bar length. Sprocket tip on the bar and the pitch of the chain, the chain pitch that you have. If you go from a 16 inch to a 20 or 24 inch on certain cubic inch saws, it's going to pull the power down. Sometimes you can stay with a 325 pitch or extended pitch 3/8, going from a 16 to a 20. But you gotta think about the durability of the chain also. So it's something that it comes into a lot of things to look at with the size of the power head, the pitch of the chain, the number of drive links, the weight of the chain, um, all those things, and you got the gauge to deal with too when you start to change that over when trying to match bars and chain. So the video goes through quite a lot that answered some questions that, like I said, I've had several questions here as people were getting ready to start cutting firewood this year, and it's mostly occasional users. It's not pro guys, but it is something where they're going to be using the saw and they want it set up properly. So that's a good thing to find that they are asking the questions. And so that's bar changes. And then I had a question last week on the reduced kick saw chain. And so I went through a little bit on that. So many times, guys get kind of negative on the reduced kick, but it's something that it all came about back in the middle 80s to the early 90s, and it still goes on today with the ANSI B175 standards. And so all the manufacturers worked hard trying to get chains that would meet the testing rig that ANSI and the more or less the ANSI committees came up with. They were representative of several manufacturers and different users and those kinds of things, and so they wanted to make sure that the consumer was aware of the safety hazards with chainsaws, rotational forces, and using reduced kickback bars and chain and safety features like chain brakes and those kinds of things to be able to reduce reactive forces. There was a standard that was built, and so for several years, um, chain manufacturers built to specific saws and specific markets, and then after that, in the middle 90s, started to see, and in the later past 15 years, started to see some real development on reduced kick saw chain that actually is very uh, fast cutting and allows you to bore cut, plunge cut, and fairly easy to maintain as far as sharpening and those kind of things go. So it's quite interesting. I covered a lot of information in that particular video. So those few things, and if you haven't subscribed, please do so, and also like buttons as you watch videos. It helps to be able to get out for more people can see the videos. Um, the videos are not all that good. Hopefully, I've got some decent topics because I get those topics from people that send me messages like yourselves, and so we try to answer all of those and try to do some kind of videos, because if you've got a question about something, most likely somebody else does also. And so we try to get those questions answered where people with less experience can have good really good, strong, and purpose-filled training videos. And like I said, there's a lot of times that, and the one I'm going to post here after the session tonight, a lot of times people watch through the videos and they see pro users or people with experience working on some of these trees, but nobody really starts off with actual planning process. They talk about lean, they talk about this one's really tough going this way and that way, but it's something where you can't really see whether it worked or not because you don't know exactly what those particular leans are or what situations it got into with the cutting of the tree. So um, I'm hoping that more people start explaining um, the planning process on the tree they're about to do a video on because that'll help people to learn more efficiently and they don't go out and start working without that planning process. And they need, a lot of people say, well, a lot of people don't need that planning process. They should be calling professionals to do the work. But I don't care who you are or what you are, is that whether professional or homeowner cutting firewood or just cleaning brush, you have to have a planning process to be able to draw a line where you call a professional. And I was talking about this the other day. Is people were saying, "Oh, you got a tree company to come cut trees?" I said, I've either had Robert Albritton or Georgia Tree Masters working on trees on my properties for the past few years, simply because I know what my limitations are, and I don't climb. If I don't have a spot wide enough and long enough to put the tree down, then I need somebody with some different equipment and different skill set. And so that's where the planning process comes in. I go out, take a look at the tree, figure out what the clearances are, what the hazards are there. Do I have the equipment to work with it? Do I have the space to put it? And that's what people need to do to be able to work safely and productively out there. There's some tasks that homeowner is going to be able to do and really want to do because of costs and those kinds of things. And sometimes availability, especially when storms hit, there's not a whole lot of professional tree crews that are not so busy that they have the time to go out and work a long time on these storms. They do in some cases, but that's where the disaster groups come in and different landowners trying to work on their own properties, clean them up. And so they need to have a planning process so that they say, well, this is out of my bailiwick. In other words, I'm not going to mess with this because I checked this out and I don't have the equipment or the expertise to be able to do it. And that's where they call somebody that does. And so that's the key to it, is being able to make a decision of when to do something and when not to. So that's kind of where it is. I'm gonna play this video after we get off here tonight, and I appreciate everyone dropping by and hopefully picked up something that you may be able to think about. Got a lot of neat things planned coming up here over the next few weeks. So if you're able to next Thursday night, drop by. Maybe doing some other lives as we get going here. And if you have any questions or video topics that you would like to see, please send it on one of the comments on one of the videos. I read every single one of them that comes through, or send me a message at info@forestapps.com, and we'll get you an answer back and follow up with you. So that's what we want to do. And I'm looking for guys who would like to be part of a Thursday night live panel. I think it would be great if we can build up some more people. I can put them on the Zoom calls and be able to utilize their expertise in answering questions and coming up with topics. And so I think that could be quite interesting. So if you know of anybody that may be interested in doing that, please send me a message and we will get in touch and get that set up. So anyhow, we're going to be checking out, and I'm going to upload the other video here shortly. And I hope that we see you next week. It's getting close to Christmas, and if you haven't already, please check out the e-store. I'll get those things sent out quickly, and we'll go from there. So thank you for dropping by, and I hope to see you all along the Forest Apps Road coming up in the next few months. But definitely, I want to wish you good sawing.